How's it going, YouTube? It is Darth Cuddles, and today we are starting our brand new series in Madden 21. Today we are taking over the Washington football team, I should say, and we are relocating them and doing basically kind of like an expansion teams type situation. So we obviously are relocating the city, and we are going to go in pretty much right at the beginning of the preseason right here, and we're just going to cut everyone who is above a rating of 70 overall, or they're going to have any significant part of this team, because we are going to force this team to essentially go 16-0. As you can see right here, I'm just cutting just a bunch of players from the football team. And yeah, it's pretty much with this is we are trying to do kind of what happened back in 2002 with the expansion draft. The only difference is that we are not going to be taking any players from, from other teams like what they did in the regular 2002 expansion draft. As you can see right here, I did a big cut. Pretty much we're just leaving the punter and kicker where they are. I really don't think that the punter and kicker are going to make that much of a difference, whether they're being 82 or I think it was like 79. We'll see here. Yeah, 74. They just really don't make that much of a difference. So right now there's going to be a lot of jump cuts. Right here you're just going to see me force all of the regular season games, so that way we have a losing record. We go 0-16. So basically we're just saying that the Washington football team loses their team because of something Dan Snyder probably did. And so that season, every team that was scheduled to play, the football team just gets an automatic win. And yeah, we start fresh, and so it's we move the team, and no one on this team is having to stay here anymore. So it is kind of a weird expansion type thing. One thing we are going to do, instead of taking players from other teams, we are actually going to do free agency and draft and kind of start building the team that way. So as you can see, I'm just kind of going through free agency here just to show you where some of these guys are. Obviously, Terry McClellan, the football team's star wide receiver, he's there. Logan Thomas, we sent a bunch of pretty talented players into the free agency market, so we are going to get a big check just to see where they go. Obviously, we flooded the D-tackle market and the D-line, so yes, Chase Young, he is available. I'm kind of curious to see where he goes and how he takes his career on from there. Obviously, he had a really, really successful season. So right here we have some of the players where they signed. Just kind of going over it a little bit. Tim Settle is with the Rams. Yeah, just kind of going through the scene where some of the bigger name guys that I know for a fact that we let go, where they went, just kind of scrolling through. Gerald McCoy signed with the Ravens. That's interesting to see. Matt Iaditis signed with the Packers. That is pretty big for them. They get a really, really solid D-tackle, adding to that already pretty solid defensive or front seven. John Bostic, he signed with the Falcons. Deron Payne signed with the Jets, so they get another really nice young D-tackle. Looking over here, Kenny Still signs with the Chargers. Logan Thomas signs with the Panthers. Tony Jefferson signs with the Raiders. Landon Collins also signs with the Panthers. Morgan Moss, who was an offensive lineman before, signed with the Bengals, so they get some much-needed help to help protect Joe Burrow. He's not the best guy. Reuben Foster goes to the Bears. Kevin Pierre-Louis goes to the Falcons. They are trying to help out. Montez Sweat also goes to the Falcons, so they are trying to get there. Adam Vinatieri signs with the Chargers. Antonio Gibson goes to the Eagles, so they might be done with kind of their situation. Earl Thomas goes to the Browns. Jonathan Allen goes to the Texans. In real life, J.J. Watt just got cut from there, so it is, I would say that they're doing it. But Brandon Sheriff, one thing that I didn't realize that I had to do is go in there and actually not have, positions open. Otherwise, the team would just automatically start re-signing players. But Terry McLaurin goes to the Titans. Eric Berry goes to the Eagles. Brandon Sheriff goes to the Lions. Mikael Kendrick goes to the Eagles. Ryan Kerrigan goes to the Cardinals. Who else do we have here? Colin Kaepernick was signed to the football team. Again, that was kind of a mistake. I just accidentally let some of that stuff go through where I didn't sign a quarterback or a DN. But right here, we see that Chase Young signs with the Tennessee Titans. Colin Kaepernick signs with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, and so right now, we're kind of getting into week 3. This is just kind of like a random season. So yeah, here we start with the relocation. I was wondering where I was going to go. I was thinking to myself, do I want to keep it on the East Coast or I want to have it on the West Coast? And I figured it would be better to stay on the East Coast since this is an NFC East division. We're just putting them in there. So I eventually decided to go with Chicago. Chicago is kind of one of those cities that is kind of perfect for a second team. We have New York with 2 teams. We have LA with 2 teams. I think the next best city to have a second team is actually Chicago. You see that great rivalry in baseball with the White Sox and the Cubs. And I think it's actually a really, really solid market to have 2 football teams. They are football crazy. Honestly, I know a lot of Bears fans, including myself, especially the Bears fans that live in Chicago. They are really, really, really upset with how the McCaskies have run this team, pretty much ever since they went to the Super Bowl. And it's been really hard to watch. So it's kind of one of those things. It's like, a bunch of Chicago Bears fans are kind of going to look at this eventually and go, you know what? Screw what the McCaskies are going to do. I still have my team. And, we are now going to be the Chicago Tigers. So there is now 2 Chicago teams. We have the Chicago Bears and now the Chicago Tigers. And now we kind of take a look at some of the uniforms. I actually liked the look of all of these uniforms. Style 2 and Style 3 I was really interested in. Style 3, from what we just saw, it kind of looks more of like a Cincinnati Bengals uniform type style. I do kind of like Style 2 and I end up going with Style 2, but yeah, as you see there for Style 3, it is pretty much kind of very Cincinnati Bengals. As I do like Style 1 too. I think that is kind of nice, but I did kind of want to go with popularity, so we both had 240s. So yeah, I end up going with Style 2. I think it's clean. I think they're a really sick looking jersey. And when it comes to the stadium, I just went with the best, the deluxe, traditional stadium, because I think that's kind of what Soldier Field is like. It's a traditional stadium season. So we finally make it to the end of the regular season. Obviously, we went 0-16 here. So we see the Saints and the Browns both get their first seed. We have number 2 Packers versus number 7 Falcons, number 3 Giants versus number 6 Cardinals, number 4 Rams versus number 5 Buccaneers. We have number 2 number 2 Patriots versus number 7 Titans, number 3 Colts versus number 6 Bills, number 4 Chiefs versus whoever they had. I forgot who they said. But yeah, unfortunately for Ron Rivera and the rest of the staff, they are being moved on, just like the rest of the players. Anyone who was in this Washington organization is now being moved on. So taking another look at the playoffs, so we can see the Packers beat the Falcons, the Giants beat the Cardinals, and the Buccaneers beat the Rams. We also see the Patriots beat the Titans, the Bills beat the Colts, and then the Chiefs beat the Bengals. So we're going to see a Browns-Bills, Patriots-Chiefs, Saints, Bucks, and then Packers, Giants. So going in here, I kind of want a very power run heavy team with a 3-4 team. So Matt Hendrick is kind of the perfect option there. I really like what I saw. We also see Mike Tomlin get released, which is kind of a big shock. I do give Matt Hendricks a little bit more money to convince him. And I'm giving him a 4-year deal. And for scouts, I did want to go with someone who is going to be more O-line heavy. So we see Hayden Stewart right here. We are going to give him a little bit more money incentive and 4 years. We want all of our guys to have 4-year deals. Obviously, we'd love to go for Dan Winters, but there's many teams going for it. And Nick Garrett right here. You know, he has the same regression rating of world class, so our guys aren't going to regress that far. Taking a look at the playoffs, we do see the Buccaneers beat the Saints like in real life, and we are going to see a Packers versus Buccaneers playoff game, and we are also going to see a Browns-Chiefs playoff game. Obviously, the Browns-Chiefs game was a divisional game and not the championship game, but yeah, so this is kind of looking a little bit reminiscent of real life, because we saw the Bucks beat the Saints in the divisional, and now we're going to see the Bucks and Packers playing the NFC Championship game in Green Bay. So moving on, we see that we have indeed hired Matt Hendrick, we got our scout, and we got our trainer. So all of those are fairly good. It's what I like to see. We're not going to take a look at the Pro Bowl just because, again, it really doesn't matter for us. Looking here at the playoffs, we see that the Buccaneers end up beating Green Bay in Green Bay, and we do see the Chiefs beat the Browns in their playoff game. So we are seeing what we saw in real life, where we have a Buccaneers Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl. So looking at the MVP, it went to Aaron Rodgers, like it did in real life, surprisingly, with Josh Allen coming in at number 2. And then Coach of the Year also goes to Kevin Stefanski, which really did happen in real life. AFC Offensive Player of the Year goes to Josh Allen, which in real life it ended up going to Derrick Henry. Rookie of the Year, Joe Burrow, ended up going to Justin Herbert in real life. And then for Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Logan Wilson, which we all know went to Chase Young. I don't know why they separate these into AFC and NFC, just all have it in one category like they do in real life. This is one of the things Madden does kind of need to replace. But Offensive Player of the Year goes to Aaron Rodgers. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Fosadi Olakam. Terrible with some of these names, but in real life we know it went to Aaron Donald. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Cam Akers. Obviously, we know that goes to Justin Herbert. Then Kyler Barnes. But yeah, here's a little sneak preview of what the draft is going to look like. Obviously, we have a first pick in the first, the second, third, or 2/3, a fourth, a fifth, sixth, and a seventh. So we are just using what the... I was initially going to trade that second, third pick, but I kind of looked at it and went, you know what? I think it would actually be pretty decent for us to actually have that, you know, just so we can build this team a little bit up. But yeah, right now we're just kind of taking a look at some of the quarterbacks, because quarterback is the most important position in football. This guy has an early second round grade. You know, he has a bunch of A's, but JC Henderson, he looks like... You know, he has late first round, so both of those top 2 guys, they're kind of around the same category, but really we're just looking at this quarterback class. There is just really nothing there to see. It is, yeah, we're not really taking a big look at running back right now. Again, same thing with wide receiver. Excuse me. Tight ends, we have a couple of really good looking tight ends. Aaron Hendricks, he looks like he could be a solid tackle. You know, offensive line, you know, we have a couple of good-looking guys, but then we also have a lot of just, looking players. Marquise Fant, that was a guy that looks pretty solid. You know, Lepar Roberts, mid-third round, late second round grade, or early second round grade, I should say. So this is a guy that we can potentially try to acquire in the third round with one of those two third round picks. But yeah, for me, I kind of looked at this and went, for us, we need to look at a quarterback, and then that's obviously the most important position in football. But then after that, we need to start taking a look at a guy who can get after the quarterback, and we have a lot of really, really, really good looking defensive ends right here. We have Wilkerson, who is a 7th round player that looks like he can go in he should go in the late second. And then we also have this guy who's Overset, who's going to go in, should go in the mid to late third. But yeah, we have a lot of really good guys. I didn't really take a too big look at D tackle. For the outside linebackers, I'm really only looking at edge rushers for that particular spot. Justin Hogan looks like he can be a pretty solid edge rusher in this league. He's got some good grades. Again, I didn't take a look at linebacker, but I did take a look at the speed rusher, or just the edge rusher. Derek Keenan, he looks like he could be a really solid guy. He's a late 4th round. That's where he's said to go, but he has early 2nd round, I'm thinking. Yeah, so that's really, really good. Hopefully we can, take a potential look at that guy in the 4th round. Obviously we have, the first pick in the 4th round, so I'm not too terribly worried here. But we do see that, unlike real life, the Kansas City Chiefs go back-to-back and win their 2nd Super Bowl. This time they actually beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. Taking a look at some of the retirements, Chad Henne retires after 13 years. LaShawn McCoy, I did not edit anyone's draft or in the draft. I just kind of wanted to show that. But yeah, looking at retired, LaShawn McCoy, Mercedes Lewis retires. Matt Schaub retires. Oh, let's see who else. Andy Lee, Larry Fitzgerald, Andrew Whitworth, Antonio Costanzo, Josh McCown retires. Ryan Khalil, Greg Olsen retires, which he did do in real life. Mike Itba, Bruce Irvin retires with the Raiders, Richie Incognito, Sam Young, Adrian Peterson, Frank Gore. Those are 2 Hall of Fame running backs retiring in the same year. Both really, really talented guys. Jason Peters retires, Donald Penn, Adam Vinatieri retires, John Jenkins, Deshaun Jackson, Danny Amendola. We are just seeing an absolute ton of really, really, really talented players end up retiring. So, Clay Matthews retires, Terrell Suggs, Mike Nugent. But then we also see head coaches Andy Reid and Pete Carroll both decide to hang up the gloves, and they are retiring. So Andy Reid, a back-to-back Super Bowl champion, ends up retiring. All the best for him right there. One thing I am going to do after releasing all the players that I did, I am going to clear the cap penalty, because obviously we shouldn't have a cap penalty for a team that never existed. But yeah, this is just kind of taking a look at the free agency that we have right here. Obviously, we have Allen, Clowney, Williams. A lot of the players that we did release are kind of going to be back into this category. And yeah, taking a look at quarterbacks, we have Phil Rivers, the 39-year-old. In real life, he did retire. We have Jameis Winston, Trubisky, Dalton, Fitzpatrick, Nick Mullins, Brissett, Tyrod Taylor, Josh Rosen. There is a bunch of guys there. We'll need to see. And, in this kind of free agency period, I don't want to go crazy with spending contracts. We do have a lot more than $112 million. I think it always takes a week for the cap penalty to officially clear up. And yeah, so looking at this, we have Corey Davis. I'm just taking a look at his speed, because I always love having speedsters. He's an 85 overall. That's superstar. Dev trade, Antonio Brown, no thank you. I don't want that locker room headache on my team. But yeah, we're just taking a look at some of the wide receivers that we have here. Some of the tight ends that are also here. Just kind of scrolling through, just seeing what the offensive line looks like. The end, Montez Sweat, he's now up to an 84. Uh, he's looking pretty solid right there. Morgan Fox doesn't look too bad. It's a guy that we can potentially pick up, as just kind of like a. We'll have him here now, but yeah, the D tackle, obviously Jonathan Allen, Matt Ioannidis. He's gonna be there. But yeah, we have the first overall pick, and the right defensive end guy, he's looking really, really solid. I think it's kind of coming down to one of three guys for myself looking at the draft class at the moment of where I'm going to go. Taking a look at the outside linebackers, just seeing everything there. Middle linebackers, nothing too crazy or special there. Just again taking a look at some of these outside guys, corner, just finishing off, showing everything, safeties, kickers, punters. But yeah, we are going to sign some of these guys, just doing a little quick recap of what we did. We ended up signing Will Lutz. We have John Ross still in negotiation. He's going to sign with us because no one else is going to offer him a contract. I solely got him just for the speed. But yeah, Will Lutz, Carl Joseph. Then we signed to D.D. Westbrook, Eli Apple, Cordell Patterson, Levi Wallace, Jason McCourty, Adam Humphrey, Jaquan Griffin, Morgan Fox, Kareem. Yeah. So yeah, these are just all the guys that we ended up signing. Nothing. We're not going to have the best team out there, but we are going to have a lot of guys that we can start building around and finding some of these younger rookies. I did sign Ryan Fitzpatrick just because I just don't really know what my quarterback situation is going to look like, because these quarterbacks in the free agency market didn't really do anything for me, and then the quarterbacks in the draft, I don't feel comfortable taking either of those quarterbacks with the first overall pick, so we just kind of left it. So moving in here, we're going to take a look at some of the trade offers that teams are delivering our way. And so we have the Jets and the Dolphins offering 3 first-round picks, 2 for this year and 1 for next year, which, if I'm being honest, it is really, really hard not to take one of these deals, just simply because we are going to be a bad team early on, and we are definitely going to need some more draft capital. And I'm just taking a look at this going like, okay, we'll get the 9th, 17th, and then we'll get another pick in next year's draft. But then, looking at Miami, we can have like the 13th and 15th, and they'll both go around the same time. I do kind of like the idea of a top 10 pick. I'm just kind of taking a look at the draft class right here, really deciding. I love the look of Lawrence Drake, but now I'm just kind of sitting back here going like, okay, like if I get around the 9th pick, Larry Venable, he's said to have like a mid first round. I know I have another guy, Terrell Barron, who looks like he's an early first round grade. So I'm kind of looking back here going like, okay, I'm still going to get a really, really talented player. I did a really good job scouting, so it's not going to be that bad. Marquise Fant, he's a guy that looks pretty promising. Hopefully he's going to be available. And if I do decide to trade, which spoiler alert, I end up doing, I do accept the Jets trade. It's like, okay, well now one of these 2 quarterbacks, if they're available with the 17th pick, is, kind of worthy of taking. So yeah, I do end up taking this. We do move back. We'll go through some of the picks here. They ended up taking a right tackle with this, who ends up being a 70 overall. I can't imagine. That's. I would have figured they would have gone with that trade. Just kind of looking at Drake, he's only a 76 overall. We don't know his dev trait, obviously, but he isn't anything terribly special. Logan, he's also a 76. The Steelers just end up getting more edge rush help, which of course they need. But yeah, then there's just a bunch of guys. Anthony McDougal, he looks like he could potentially be the best guy in this draft class. I'm kind of looking at this going like, if J.C. Henderson isn't available, it's not the end of the world, but he might be at pick 17 just to kind of see where some of these guys go. He does kind of have that late first round grade on him, so, you know, we're hoping that he's there with pick 17, but who knows at this point. But yeah, we do have the 9th, and, you know, looking at this, we are just going to quickly go through some of these picks. Wide receiver, we didn't look at any wide receivers. The 49ers get another weapon for whoever the quarterback is. Davis, you know, goes to the Panthers as a guard. They are, I guess that's what they're doing. Jose Griffin, 75. Another corner, we didn't really look there. We're going to take a look at some of the offers again. You know, 20 or 22nd, you know, we're not going to take unless it was kind of like another offer that we had early on. But yeah, again, I'm thinking to myself, do I go with Henderson here just because I don't know if he's going to be there with pick 17. But yeah, I do decide to go Terrell Banner just because he does look pretty solid. Yeah, just looking at all the stats that he has there. Really good bench press. He honestly looks at 6'4", 314 pounds. He looks like he can be a defensive tackle, which I end up moving him to defensive tackle because, you know, with that size, might as well. And we do run a 3-4, and so some of our outside linebackers are potentially going to be edge guys. So just quickly moving on to our next pick. Just kind of taking a look at the class. I'm kind of looking at Henderson going, I really hope he's there at 17. Alright, just kind of moving through the rest of the first round scene, and of course Fant gets taken, which is kind of unfortunate for us. That was kind of going to be the pick that I kind of wanted to go, but right now, we're kind of looking at Henderson's. Hopefully the Broncos don't end up taking him. Larry Venable, that was another guy we were kind of looking at. He's a 75 DN, so he's pretty good, but we're still pretty happy with our pick. And so this is kind of where, we're going to take a look at some trades just to see what their offer is. You know, for me, I really am kind of only looking at ones. This is a good pick for us. And yeah, pretty much at this point, I feel more than comfortable kind of going after Henderson just because looking at the list right here, the next best thing is a second round running back and then a first round running back or a first round corner that's in the second that we can probably end up getting in the second if we're lucky. But yeah, we need a quarterback. J.C. Henderson is the best quarterback in this draft class. He does have late first round. We're kind of overextending for him, and luckily he is a hidden dev trait player, so we are pretty happy with it. So his value is the 31st. We got that at pick 17, so I'm pretty happy. Devontae Cox is going to be our second round pick as a tight end. I really like the look of him. You know, he's got speed and acceleration, 85 and 91. Dude is quick. He's going to be a monster from the tight end position. Going into the third round, we decided to go with Aaron Hendricks, the tackle. He has that late first round potential. He's a 72, so I'm pretty sure at this point he's going to actually end up being our starting left tackle, which is pretty cool to get that in the third round. Now, moving into the next pick in the third round, you know, there's not a whole lot there, but Bruce Bozeman, late second round pick, so we're kind of getting around the value that he should be. We do need some more defensive line. We're kind of like taking a peek just to see what else kind of value is there. You know, we're looking at Derek Keenan. I really, really love the look of this guy. This guy's basically a late first round pick. So, I know I was really debating going on with him there, but it's like we have the first pick in the 4th round, and he is supposedly a late 4th round pick. So for me, I felt pretty comfortable kind of letting him go to the 4th round. We're not sure how he's going to be. He has some good ratings, but yeah, we do end up going here with Bruce Bozeman. Yeah, I think. Yeah, we do end up going. He does have some really good speed off. He's not the most powerful guy. He does have the 10th best bench press at the left end position. We get a 70 overall normal out of him. So yeah, this is a guy that we can potentially do. But yeah, in the 4th round, we see Derek Keenan there, and he is a hidden dev trait guy. So yeah, I am super happy. As soon as I saw that he was there, I instantly took him. Take center, Jalen Sweating, he's 68 overall normal. Nothing great. He's going to be a backup center for us. Going into the 6th round, Isaiah Wilkerson. We pick him up. Again, this is kind of really just a draft of us drafting a bunch of players, in the trenches. A lot of linemen and a lot of edge guys. We end up drafting another D-line, Daryl Sterling. But yeah, just kind of taking a look at the entirety of the draft class, see who got the best players. So it was a 3-way tie between Anthony McDougal, McFarland, and McKenzie, 2 wide receivers, and a defensive end. Obviously, McDougal was taken with the 4th pick. We ended up trading back, which I still think is a really smart move for us. Lawrence Drake, the guy who we were really looking at, and that was probably going to end up being the 1st overall pick in the draft by us. We ended up trading back, and he's only a 76. We don't know what his depth chart is, or actually we do now. It is normal, so we actually kind of save ourselves a little bit of a bullet here. Anthony McDougal, McDougal, he's also a normal. Justin Hogan, this was another guy that we were looking at. He does have a dev trait, so yeah, for us, again, Terrell Barner, he's only a normal, so hopefully we can get some good development out of him. I did say I am going to move him to D-tackle because, what is he, like 315 pounds, like 6'4"? To me, that kind of looks a lot like a D-tackle. Yeah, so far looking at our draft class, I'm pretty happy. We got a bunch of guys in the 70s throughout the entirety of the draft. But yeah, right here, I'm just pretty much just simply moving him towards D-tackle. He was a 76 overall. But yeah, 314, 6'4", just an absolute monster. He's going to be really solid in the middle. He's a 76, so nothing really changed for him. But I'm pretty sure this is actually going to be the only change that I end up making for this draft class. Obviously, J.C. Henderson, he's going to be our quarterback of the future. 6'3", 233 pounds, 21 years old, Mississippi State. Devontae Cox, he should be a really good tight end. Obviously, with that 85 speed, 91 acceleration, I'm really happy. And the thing is, like, with these depth traits, we can always grow these guys into getting them better. Like Barron, we can definitely develop him. Right here, what I'm doing is, I know I looked at a bunch of the tight ends in this draft class, so I was just kind of taking a look, going, all right, did I get the best tight end? Was it the right move to go with the guy that we did with Cox, with that 1st, 2nd round pick, or should we have gone somewhere else? Because I knew we had 3 or 4 guys from the tight end spot that looked like they had 1st round potential. So again, just kind of scrolling through, not really caring. I definitely went the wrong way. But yeah, looking here, 5'10" drafted. We had a 72, which was Cox, and we also had another 72, which was Oscar Orzaberry. He is also normal. So, yeah, we kind of got a very similar player. I think we potentially got a little bit better just because of the speed that Cox has. But Derek Keen, I'm going to say this is probably the steal of the draft for us, just because he is, without a doubt, he was a 4th round pick, and he's potentially going to be one of the better players for us because he does have that hidden dev trait, and he's at a position of need. So yeah, I am really, really pretty happy with how we saw this class. But yeah, just looking at Keane, 250, 22 years old, so he has a lot of development and growth, and obviously we don't know what dev trait he does have, so it's probably going to end up being star. But if we can, transform him and make him a really, really good player, we might have a superstar edge rusher. We might have gotten our Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack in this draft class, with Barner and Keane. Who knows? But yeah, overall, again, really, really happy. Just kind of going through the roster after the draft and, just kind of showing you what we've done, a little bit of free agent signings during this part, a couple of rookies that I signed. Usually at this point in the season, what I like to do is kind of just go after some undrafted free agent rookies, just because I really don't want to spend a bunch of money on big name free agencies, especially when I can just find guys. So again, I'm just kind of going through here. It's like, all right, what do I need? Yeah, nothing really there for the quarterback position. Just taking a quick peek here. Yeah, just kind of looking out. Nothing too special. I think we do. Do we end up signing anyone from the QB spot? I don't think we do. Just going through running back. But yeah, this is essentially what I do for most of those free agency signings. Is just okay, let's take a quick peek here. Sign a really young, talented looking guy like this guy. He is 22, 67 overall. So I'm not going to complain about that. I do like to check these top-rated guys just to see if they have any, hidden dev traits for me. And, this guy, I'm pretty sure he's a physical wide receiver, and I need more of those. He might have been a deep threat, but, yeah. So kind of just looking at some more of the positions of need. We have James Lynch. This is obviously me being a Baylor fan in real life. I know a lot of James Lynch, and I'm like, yep, I'm happy to pick him up. He was a 4th round pick by the Jets. I think he's kind of severely underrated. But yeah, this is our team. J.C. Henderson, he's going to be our starting quarterback. Cordell Patterson does look like our best back, but, we might have Darius Geis kind of slowly take over that more powerful role. But, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens there. Roosevelt Nix, and then this is our wide receiver group. Right now our wide receiver group isn't anything outstanding or magical, but it gets the job done. We can definitely work to improve there, but Cox, he's definitely going to be our number 1 tight end. Just obviously we brought in, what I forget his name. Obviously we're going to cut over to here. But yeah, Bryce Love, just kind of scrolling through there, moving over to the tight end spot. Yeah, John Ross, obviously, with that 96 speed, he's going to be absolutely deadly. But yeah, Arnold, he's going to get replaced by Cox just because he's going to be better. Aaron Hendricks, our 3rd round pick, he's our instant starting left tackle. Yeah, just going through kind of like the depth chart here. Morgan Fox is going to be our starting left end. Isaiah Wilkerson is going to be our starting right end. But yeah, we drafted a lot of defensive ends. Terrell Barner, he's going to be our starting D tackle. Shaquille Griffin, yeah, he's our starting outside. Danny Trevathan starting in the middle. Derek Keenan, he's going to be our starting outside linebacker. And again, kind of our secondary, it's not as great as I'd like, but this is kind of what we have to work with. Obviously, Carl Joseph is kind of the top guy in that area. But yeah, kick return, we are definitely going to make Cordell Patterson our kick returner. He's the best kick returner in the NFL at the moment. So, of course, that was one of the big reasons that we signed him. And plus, the ability for him to be a running back was another reason that we signed him. So I couldn't really pass that up. I do leave Darius Geis as the power back just because Cordell Patterson is not a power back in the slightest bit. Not in the slightest. Just kind of going through some of the, little bit extra specialty depth chart players, just seeing where they are. Giving a quick check. Yeah, sub linebacker Danny Trevathan. That's kind of where I want it to be. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely decided to make Barron our number 1 right D tackle because we want him out there as much as possible. He was our number 1 draft pick, so we got to use him there. Practice squad, I'm not really going to use anything for it, but this is the end of the episode, so thanks for stopping by. See you in the next one. Peace.